Hey everyone, welcome back to Carrots and Olives. My name is Brittany, and today I wanted to just have a chit chat. It's been a couple weeks since I've put in upload a new YouTube video, and that's just because it's been wild and hectic. The only time I can actually film a video is during my lunch hour in the middle of my day, because in the evening time I am mothering and during the day I'm working, and on the weekends I'm cleaning. So it's like, when do I have time to do anything? So I figured I need to devote today to just talk about what I love to do on the very limited time I have to do it for my hobbies now. So let's talk about how I'm using some of my planners and just like anything else that happens to pop up. This right here is so pretty. I was looking at it the other day and I realized how gorgeous it's patinaing. It is like, it just looks like an old book right now. I mean, to some people, this probably looks really gross, but this is a lot of like watermarks from rain. You can see the splatters, and then just my hand oils, I guess you could say. And I don't know when it turned to this darker color, but it's now this darker like color. And I love it. I love it so much. And I wish I was using this every day. I'm not. In fact, it's mostly blank. And it's a little sad because I am mainly using my Hobonichi cousin here for everything, making sure I'm in frame. So yeah, and I also think the reason is because I got the thinner book. So the thicker book from last year was twice the size almost. And at first I didn't like it because I kept getting the hump whenever I would write in the back. And it was really frustrating. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get the smaller one, because she had announced that she was going to have a thinner version where she wouldn't have so many pages in the back for those people who didn't use all the pages in the back. And I felt that would be me, and that would be the perfect size. I love the way, like, the thinness, but still fairly thick enough of this notebook. However, I'm not using it because I kind of miss that super thickness of the other notebook. So I think I still haven't figured out how I want to use this pages. I kind of started using it for notes for skincare, but since I don't have much time to do other things, I have to be really strategic with my time now, that this just gets unused. And I want to also use it as a journal, but because there are dates in here, I can't use it as a journal. It's just distracting for me personally. So yeah, I feel really bad for this. I'm probably just gonna have to go back to a regular blank B6 notebook in order for me to use this beautiful cover. So that's that. I have a whole bunch of stickers in my King Gym, and I got these lovely stickers from my lovely friend Rhonda, and thank you so much. I am kind of hoarding them. I haven't even started using them yet, and I'm trying to find the perfect place to put them in, because the only things I'm using now are dated planners anyway, so I don't really need, like, I want to make sure I use them for something to where it's not going to be redundant. So, yeah, anyway, that was there. And what else? This little guy, I was going to sell it, and I'm sorry if any of you have reached out to me. I think there was one person who reached out to me, and it was during a time when I was recovering from surgery from having a baby, having a child, and I did not get to your message in time before the year started. And so I'm so sorry about that. So now I'm trying to figure out how to use it. I kind of started using it for like meals, like what I'm eating, but then I don't really think this is sustainable, because what's the point of this ideally? Like, what am I going to look back at this for? That is where my mind had brought me to. So now I'm like, what's the point in even taking the time to fill this out in here if that's all there is? And I never really look back at it. So um now I'm trying to figure out what else I can use this for. I was thinking about using it for like the pens that I use for journaling, so writing down the inks and the pen I'm using, which I thought this would be a better option for me. So I think I might start that next week. If you guys have any suggestions, I want it to be useful. And so having like my meals in here with nothing else seems a little bit pointless. So there's that. Now on to one of my newer ideas. I really, really am enjoying this. This was sitting in this cover, but I took this to the Philadelphia Pen Show and have yet to empty it out to put this back into it. And so anyway, I just been using it coverless. It's naked, guys, it's naked. And I don't really use the front pages. Although I probably could use this as like a tally for the end of the month. And so I started using this as like my recipe book and just keeping track of the recipes I've been making. All right, let's get in frame. I write down, I'm pretty much focused on the recipes that are like new to my family, new to me, but I'm not in love with all the blank spaces because it doesn't mean I'm only cooking 5 times in a month. I cook way more than that, and I want that to be written down. I want it to be documented because it just makes me feel good that I am making food for my family because it's an effort that I want to be displayed for myself at a later time. So anyway, I haven't been taking advantage of the pages. I thought I would like this for something for new recipes, but I would also like to include recipes that aren't new and maybe have been used once or twice. I usually don't do the exact same thing for dinner. Even if I'm making the same item or the same recipe, my recipes always end up like what I actually put into it varies, right? So I'm not always measuring every single spice that I put into my recipes or into my food. And so it can vary. And or like I look at a recipe and then if I don't have half the ingredients, I just put whatever I can find in my pantry that would be similar or close or think would taste good, and I would put that in there. So I'm okay with putting in what I make every day for the most part, unless it's like something I'm buying. I don't want that in here. That's something I store elsewhere. But like if I'm doing fast food or whatever, I don't want to put that in here. But any type of recipe I am making, I want to add it. So you can see February is looking a little bit better. I do have to update this current week. It's the week of the 19th. So what did I cook? Actually, yesterday was takeout night, so I didn't make anything. But it was Wednesday that I made chicken thighs. I should have thought this through. Seared chicken thighs with carrots and onions, which I ended up putting on the stove and then putting it in the oven. And I use a lot of butter, which I don't normally use butter. I like to use olive oil to be a little bit healthier. But tonight I used butter because I knew my meal was going to be pretty simple because I added it with rice. And I wanted everything to be really tasty. And it was actually really good. The carrots were nice and soft. And then those onions were so delicious. And the chicken thighs were good. So what else? Let me get this guy. So I've been using this little stencil for giving me those stars for ranking. And it was really good. I was surprised that all my kids and my husband usually eats everything I make, even if it's bad. But everyone loved this. And this was like the simplest meal I've made in a long time. Who knew? So yeah, that. And then even on Tuesday, I made the egg roll in a bowl. In a bowl, which I've made before. I just don't have it documented on here. This is the second time I made it, and it was delicious, and it's so easy. I actually use aminos, coconut aminos for the first time, which surprisingly tastes really good as well. I guess many people use coconut aminos as an alternative to soy sauce. So I'm giving this 4.5 out of 5 because I did kind of mess up and added a little bit too much coconut aminos. So it was a little bit wet with my rice, but we like juice with rice, so it turned out okay. Yeah. So I got to put that recipe in. That's a really good recipe. I get all my majority of my recipes from Instagram and then maybe some from Pinterest. So again, I want to put more of what I'm making. I definitely did not make anything last night. I ordered out. Don't want to put my order outs on there. So I can come back and be like, oh my gosh, I actually cook 5 days in a row. In this case, I know I cooked on Saturday, so it would have been 5 days in a row. And yeah, it just makes me happy personally. So when we get into the regular pages, this is where I have all of the recipes. I will tag or make sure to note who it is that I'm pulling the recipe from so that I can always reference back. And that's one of the things I really love about Instagram is that I can visually see how someone is making it for those who actually show the videos. And I love those quick videos because it reassures me that I'm doing the work right for the most part. It gives me a better picture, literally a better picture. So I wrote down the healthier quesadillas, baked feta cheese pasta, southern pound cake, which my kids loved. I made this for my son's birthday. I don't make desserts for anyone's birthday. Like I haven't reached that level of mom until this year, and he loved this. And yeah, that's it. I guess, wow, I thought I had a lot more than, oh yes, I had some blank pages. So creamy paprika shrimp, butternut squash soup, ground turkey meatballs, jalapeno cheddar bagels. These are my favorite. I almost have the recipe down to memorization, but not quite. I just can never remember how much of like the sugar, the salt, and the warm water to the flour. I know there's always flour. That's really bad. Okay, so then ground turkey, Korean turkey, 1 pan beef broccoli. So my idea for this, like at the end of the year, is to fill this up and then to save it. And then if I'm looking for a recipe, I can reference these pages. I am a little worried because I'm using like very colorful inks in here. And if water were ever to get on this, it would just disappear on me pretty much. So I have to keep that in mind. Again, this may not be like the book that I keep on in my kitchen to where it could get wet and become destroyed. But I'm really liking how this is working out. And I have received some of your comments. I've read them, even if I haven't responded. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to respond to everyone now, but I have read your comments, and I'm glad that this was an idea for some of you who haven't been doing something like this. So yay for that. And then, oh, one more. This is the Sterling ink standard size. So it is called the NIH or N1H compact. And I think she had like the thicker one too, but I went with compact on literally every size from her line. And I'm glad I went with compact for this one. I love the way that this feels as a standard notebook, because usually your standard notebooks from the most popular company for who created the size, Traveler's Notebook, are usually a lot thinner than this. So this feels really good in my hands. It's a nice shape. It's the same height as an A5, but just slightly slimmer. And I've been using this for my finances somewhat. Like, I'm not writing everything down finance wise, but I am writing things down with things I'm spending that I probably need to really control better, which is a goal this year. So I write them down. I have like on the left side financial events. So anything that's coming out of my account that wasn't expected. Anything I get from, like, for instance, Google AdSense, I got $163 this month. Thank you. That was from a total of 2 months. And yeah, so I will write things down that I get transfers, money added outside of my regular salary, and things like that. On the right side, I've been putting trackers. So AM routine, PM routine, actually, and I'm a little bit behind. So I've been doing really good with my AM and PM routines when it comes to skincare. And I guess I should probably put that on there. Skincare, and then I do like my probiotics and prenatals, which I took one. I've been taking them. I didn't take one on Tuesday. And probiotics, which I haven't been taking. So I do these because I want to use up the rest of the bottle. And plus I'm nursing, so that helps baby. And then putting down my wants and needs. So making sure that before I just go and spend $1,000, I never do that. But before I go and spend a whole bunch of money, that I actually write down what I want. And I started putting down what I need. Yes, I need to get some more onesies because baby's growing. So wants, I need to think it through, plan it out better. And the needs are, okay, if it's on the needs, then I can buy it at any time as long as I have money for it. So I have to plan for this, but this one is kind of free for all. And so that's how I've been doing it. My lists have somewhat changed over the past couple of weeks. I'm trying to find a happy medium on how I want this to look, and it's still kind of blank for me. I will probably figure this out in the middle of the year when it starts to feel full and feel like I'm really using it to its full potential for myself. Right now, I haven't gotten to that point, but I do like it. I like it. Okay, so on to this one. This is my A5. This is my everything, and this reminds me of back in 2020 and 2021 when I was using my A5 for everything. So one thing I meant to mention about this is that the inside of this is kind of coming apart on the spine. I don't know if you can hear that. It's making me a little bit nervous, although the book seems intact pretty well, but I feel like it's like the glue on the inside here is just partially coming apart. I don't know how to describe it, but it's making this odd sound. Anyway, so I use this and it's working out. It's working out pretty good. I have yet to update the next couple months. We're coming into like the first quarter of the year. And so I've updated like school days and when they're off, when daycare doesn't have daycare, which happens a lot more in the military. And so I have to mark those days because my work days are quite different from the rest of my family. So many times my kids are home because they have a lot of half days of school. I mean, when I was growing up, I don't ever remember half days. Like I don't know what that's about. But yes, there's so many half days and then there's snow days now that we live in an area where there's snow. So there's makeup snow days on days that we're off. So it's a lot to keep track of. And then my kids aren't in the same school. So they normally, have the same schedule from one school to the next because they're in the same district, but they are in different schools. So some things happen in one school that isn't in the other school. So it just becomes a lot to jot down, which is exciting because then things fill up, but it also means I need to keep on top of it. And so I try to make sure I'm doing that. But I am using the monthlies. As for this area, I need to doodle. I haven't done that yet. And I need to fill in what's going on. This is supposed to be my index. And I need to fill that in. So I'm behind on that. But anyway, it's getting used. We have, well, this was last week. And so I'm really liking it. It's not completely filled in, but that's okay because you could tell like where we are doing things the most. Things happen in the morning and things happen on the weekends. After school, it's pretty like the same thing. We might have some practices here and there, but the time between my kids getting out of school and the time that we go to bed, it's very short. And so nothing is happening in this time field of my planner. But this is how I'm using the weeklies. And then off to the dailies, I get these, and some days are not filled in, although I'm trying really hard to get them to be filled in. So I need to go back here. Oh, this is the day when I made a loaf of bread and I was so proud. Watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Didn't get to finish because I was watching the show and I really don't remember what happened on this day. So I think I'm going to fill it up with photos. Same with here, that space. Stickers or photos. Same with here, stickers or photos. I do a little bit of drawing. 100th day of school, you had to look like you're 100 years old. I still have some work I need to do here. And yeah, everything else is pretty much filled out. I just need to catch up on yesterday and on these 2 days. So I have a few places in my planner that need some catch up, and I can usually do that during my lunch hour in the middle of the week, or even like on the weekends, early in the morning or really late in the evening. So it is getting kind of thick. I really love this hardcover hone. I remember when they came out with the hone from last year and I was like, oh, that's so cool. But it was only in the A6 size. And then and then when they announced it for this year, I was like, yes, I know I'm getting an A5 hone because I always loved the look of like a hardcover notebook, and I'm glad that I have a cover that can fit it. So I still love this notebook, this book. Now on to, I think the only other notebook was my A6. This is the only thing I've put in this notebook, and that was on January 3rd. And it makes me sad because this is such a cute little book. And now I was thinking about using this as like a personal little diary that won't take up too much of my time, but because my time is already limited and it's hard for me to keep up with what I already have, I'm like, I'm already missing out on the days, which is just really frustrating. So I'm gonna keep trying to make it a daily diary. I remember those days when I had my planner or my A6 and it was like my draw day, and I did it for a whole year. Oh my gosh, I was just so devoted, and I was just really well disciplined. Plus I didn't have 3 kids. So there's that. Oh, fountain pens. Here's my fountain pens. We all love to look at fountain pens. And I am loving all of my pens that I have inked up this month. I don't know. I've actually did make an order of a couple of pens that are coming soon. I think tomorrow. And I can't wait till they get here. I will do a video on them. But I have been eyeing the platinums again. I saw that there's a couple of really pretty platinum, unique like editions coming out, but they're released in Japan. So I'm not sure I'm willing to spend extra money just to get it. But I've been eyeing the ones that are here, that are coming to the US, to our US retailers. And for instance, there's that one with the shape of heart. And the color of that is just so pretty. But I don't know. Is it overrated? What do you guys think? Anyway, that's all I have to share with you. I have to leave some time for me to do some journaling and catch up for the rest of my lunch. But thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments below. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye.